Sick.
The
Hey, we're
stream
live.
is live.
The stream is live.
God. Bump, 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 bump. Oh yeah. Choo choo! All aboard for a good time. Yep, that one always kills.
Yay.
The audience always loves that one.
Audience is a good one. They like that. You know what they like even more?
What's that?
Art jokes. Oh,
Moo.
my mistake.
Mm-mm.
My mistake.
Yeah. This is a good time to be checking my Google Drive messages. Hey, bring it in. Bring it in. Yeah.
Bring it in. Here we are.
Just grooving.
Wow.
It's us. Remember us?
Welcome back, everyone, from the north to the south, the east to the west. We've trotted globes since last we were here.
It's true.
But listen, even the most olive skin tone after a week in Mexico couldn't keep me away from being here with all of you. And that has ultimately now turned into just like peeling skin. Django, did you end up with any sunburns in there, or do you just have that nice complexion?
I didn't get any sunburns while we were gone. And I spent, I think, pretty much a solid 2 hours fighting the waves and almost getting undertowed.
Dude, okay. So Django pulled a Princess Peach and almost got right undertowed, but out in the ocean there. But at one point, where Django and we had a day where we were by the pool for like 2 hours. You know, we didn't hang out at a pool in Mexico for more than like 2 hours one day. Django and I did. And I was there first, and Django came to find me. I had taken one dip in the pool before he got there, and I had left my sandal flippy flops in my covered area, and I walked to the pool, but I got halfway to the pool when I realized like it is too hot for bare feet on this ground. And I was
rough.
like, do I go back or forward? And I just went into the water. Either way, Django, my feet hurt for a while after that. The 2 days after we got back, I lost an entire layer of skin on the bottom of my feet.
Really?
Both of them. Yeah.
Holy cow.
I was like, is something wrong? And it took me a day to like, oh, right, the burn like on the bottom and then the tops. I guess I'm not good at taking care of my feet.
Yeah,
I'm Jeff.
you burned on the top. I didn't burn at all. I'm Django.
I'm Roman. Yeah, I didn't burn at all. I stay out of the sun. Yep.
Oh, and
The
what
sun
a
is evil.
time! What a time we had! What stories we have to tell! I met a man named Freddie on the beach at night in the dark, and bought drugs from him. It was awesome.
My favorite part of you doing that was the text messages I sent Erica and Dan saying, I just got this from Jeff, and now his location's not showing. I was like, share your location, and it just showed that you were in our hotel room, which I knew wasn't true.
Yeah. I said, Django, if you don't hear from me in 30 minutes, something bad has happened by the water. And he was like, share your location. I was like, oh, smart. But no, service is iffy and weird and strange. And you said, is everything all right? And I said, we're just gonna see how accurate my judge of character is.
Yeah. Turns out it was good enough.
Yeah, I made friends with a guy who he was a nice guy. He's a real good guy. Mexico. Roman, you ever been to Mexico?
I have not.
Yeah, I haven't been either. I tell you what, though, after a nice work trip down there, Django and I are going to go on a vacate down there one of these days.
Like a real one, like not a work trip.
Yeah, I don't know if we could pull an all-inclusive paid, thing if it's not work, but
figure it out.
It was pretty cool. Django and I do a point of sale thing where we built it for our comic shop and a bunch of other stores use it. We went to Mexico with a fleet of comic shop assistant users and got to have like a work summit type thing that was incredibly interesting and stretched and flexed entirely new muscles for both of us, I would think.
Yeah. And also, like, just what is the definition of a work trip and what is the definition of a vacation? Because it got real muddy.
Yeah. Like, are you guys here for vacation? And if so, does that mean I should not worry about your expectations for what you're getting out of this, because I'm a guy who's going to worry about letting people down.
You
I don't know
are.
if y'all know. I don't know if y'all know.
I'm starting to realize that about you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just a nice little 12-year runway we've got there.
I'll tell you
know?
what.
What's up?
I ain't fast, but I sure am slow.
I love that about you, though. Well, it's because it's a power waddle, you know? Like,
Yeah.
there's enough side-to-side motion going on there that you got to
Uh-huh.
take that and appreciate it more than just vertical, like horizontal, the forward motion, right?
You waddle up and you say, I want to shake your hand.
You do. He said that to every single person. We went to a foam party where tons of 20-somethings were in giant pools having foam doused all over them. And Django just kept going up to young people saying, I want to shake your hand.
I want to shake your hand. Didn't shake a single hand. I just wanted some of their Germex foam. It was antibacterial foam. And
yeah, and we liked that.
yeah.
Roman, in my, explorations of the arena, as it were, of this resort in Cabo San Lucas, in the evening, I caught wind of the fact that there were wild cats out there. And at night, these wild cats descend on the property. And so I was out there looking for cats, and I found a cat, and I was like trying to get him to come over here. And then I heard a person from the building that worked there come up making this crazy, like sounded exactly like a cat, but kind of like a howling cat, and scared the cat off. And then he like kind of stumbled on me around the corner on my knees, like trying to do something. And I was like, oh, that was a great mouth sound you made. And he was like, he made the sound again, and he was talking to me in Spanish, which I don't speak, and he didn't speak English. But we spent a handful of minutes like with him trying to teach me how to make that sound, and I was doing it back. And it was like animals can bring all of us together, is my point, as can comics.
Did he have to use his hands to teach you that at all?
No, it was more like a it was in that family of sound. Yeah, but yeah, with majesty to it.
Nice.
Which is why they all. What's that?
Was the cat you were pursuing, was that Freddy?
No, but he was a cool cat.
No.
Freddy saved Jeff's life.
He saved Jeff's life, or at least my sleeping and sweating. But that's why you come here. That's why we all come here. We gather here at the pulpit of the Perfectly Acceptable podcast, where we pray to the Kirby god of comics and share in a love of these comics. The three of us run a comic book shop with the help of some other incredible folks, and we go through the week's books every single week. However, we've had some off weeks, being globetrotting, and that just wreaks havoc on my reading schedule, Django. It wreaks havoc on it.
I'm gonna end up reading some number 4s before I read number 3s. I just know it.
Did I read Fury of Firestorm number 2? I don't know.
Remember.
I don't know, but I read number 3 this week. Spoilers. You're gonna hear about it. Hey, Django, you had an idea as we were like kind of getting the pencils out, working on the math for this episode, right? Kind of busting down the equation for what this is going to be. And I am totally on board for it, but I am excited to see, what percentage of this is main book conversation and which percentage of it is extended buckshots.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we should start with the main books and probably just kind of feel out the BS, the buckshots.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Okay. Well, I think that we should definitely talk about this week's comic books, because if there's one thing that we do, it's talk about this week's comic books. However, at the pulpit of the Perfectly Acceptable podcast with Roman the Cardinal and Django the Bishop, I would like permission to engage in a conversation about a comic book from last week, because any longtime listener of the Papcast knows that one book we've been talking about since it came out, and talking about probably far longer than people needed to hear, is the book Ice Cream Man. And in I'm rusty, boys. We got a contribution from our friend Will Elmer, but we're going to do that after we take care of the past. because Will's contribution
Yeah.
is present. It's here. It's now. It's episode 249.
That's
You
right.
know?
This would be slotted between 248 and 249 if we were talking about it on time. Right?
0.5 or something. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I like it.
But a comic book came out, The Dead Man by W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Morazzo, and Chris O'Halloran, the team behind Ice Cream Man, and even more recently, Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. They're cracking into the top 2 as a buddy system, and now they're getting their second mainstream DC book. And I think that we would be remiss if we did not talk about it and listen to Roman turn his lights on. That's what I want to do today. How did you guys feel about this novella?
I thought that this was way more like an issue of Ice Cream Man than the Superman Kryptonite Spectrum was. Superman
Totally.
Kryptonite Spectrum was like Silver Age goofiness, like Golden Age wacko comics, and
Wackadoo.
this felt like a really solid issue of Ice Cream Man, which is, I think, my preference.
Yeah. Yes. I loved the vacation that was Kryptonite Spectrum, and also like proof of concept that they can do more than one type of story. But dead is in the title of this character, so that seems pretty apropos for a creative team who spends so much time dwelling in the muck and struggling through anxiety and spiders and nightmares. So this, I totally agree, felt much more like Ice Cream Man. And the part that feels the most like it to me is the like macabre sense of humor.
Yeah.
That is present in this book and very present in Ice Cream Man. And it's like a type of biting humor that I think is hard to pull off in a thing that doesn't have the specter of mortality lurking behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Roman?
10.
10.
Jumping to the end.
I loved it. This was I read it twice. So I usually don't do with the comics, but I love this. I love Dead Man. I love everything Jeff said. Plus, they threw in is it now I lost the thread. Is it Hindu religion? They threw in the religion.
Hindu adjacent, yeah.
That Ramakrishna that gave Dead Man his power or his task, whatever you want to call it. And that's something they usually don't bother with Dead Man. So that was really cool. It's really innovative.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a kind of a character like Moon Knight or like Dr. Fate, where it's like, I don't know, there's been some kind of differing origins or like approaches to the character's powers. And I love that in this one, on the page right before kind of his origin or the explanation, it says, all the best origin stories are like super compressed. So we get 3 large horizontal panels expressed across the width of the page, much like All-Star Superman by Quietly Morrison. And then where the 4th panel would be, you get a gross amount of small, dense text, not even in a balloon or anything. Just like, it's always compressed. And then, oh no, we can't do that here. And then I love that as it rambles on and you make it through that entire thing, it kind of is interjected by him turning up the page and saying, Mr. Jory's got 15 heartbeats left. Yeah. Which is, you know, kind of the background moment that this happens around. Again, so meta and self-referential. This reminded me, I've been trying to understand, you know, the Infinite Jest guy. Blanking on his name right now. Yeah, David Foster Wallace. And like why his stuff is revered and unique and, you know, like Infinite Jest, and it kind of pioneered a type of meta writing that is very interesting. And this to me is very much that. Like it's this incredible combination of a narrative while also having a conversation with the audience about how you are illustrating this narrative. Yeah, I'm so here for it. I love that type of meta-ness up its own butthole.
Yeah, I really liked just like the little jokes where he's basically the janitor for ghosts, right? And so when we first meet him, he's in a hospital dressed like a janitor, and then he goes to become a doctor, and he's like, "Yeah, don't worry about the fact that my outfit just changed. Like it's just kind of what happens." And now he's wearing a doctor's coat. Just like, yeah, this is absurd, and it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's absurd.
In
Yeah.
that summary thing, it says senseless murder, and it's just a clip of him saying murdered without any sense.
Yeah.
Which is just great.
I really liked there's a page of him kind of going home to his spectral neighborhood, and as you like, it looks a little bit like Chutes and Ladders, and as you read down the page, the action is going up the page, so it's kind of this disorienting, like which direction should I be going, which I can imagine is sort of the afterlife in those characters that we meet there. Yeah.
Roman, when I had said something, you were about to say something. Any chance we can pull that out of you?
I thought it was pretty interesting that they gave Dead Man whatever this community is called, because he's never lived in, he's usually just kind of floating around Gotham and Boston, but this device that he's in this community that's full of restless spirits that he has to take care of. That's pretty interesting too. And all sorts of story potential there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your usual like, okay, here he is like pissing off Batman and stuff.
Yeah, and finding your forever home in a retirement community or whatever is like a very tongue-in-cheek, wonderful hook for all sorts of different stories.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he'll never find his forever home though. He's cursed to be stuck as Dead Man forever.
Roman, you said that you read this issue twice, and usually in the week a thing comes out, we try to crunch in a whole bunch of books to be able to talk about on the podcast and in our shop. But I'm curious, what was it that propelled you to read it again? Was there a question you had, or something you wanted to make sense of, or just the humor, the art, or
humor, art? I love this creative team. I love Dead Man. I've got right up there. I've got the Dead Man Neil Adams collection.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would be, I guess, my only teeny tiny complaint about this is that he's not in the classic Dead Man Neil Adams costume, but maybe that'll come later.
It's a good costume. I bet we'll see it.
Yeah, the aerialist costume.
Just with like Kryptonite Spectrum, it had such deference for the Silver and Bronze Age that like I'm sure that'll make appearances in here. Do we know if Justin got this or not?
I don't think he did.
Know.
Because look at his transactions.
He was working on a Dead Man story of his own for like quite a while. I remember at the old Canberra location, him giving Roman and I a rundown of that story.
He hasn't bought it, but it looks like one of his good friends has, so maybe he's borrowing it from him. I don't know.
Oh. Okay, they're buddies. They'll share readings. Good.
Yeah.
Because this is Justin to a T for sure. If y'all remember J Clip.
J Clippy. And I got so excited for the next issue, The Grave and the Bold, with one of my other favorite guys, Plastic Man, the bendy guy.
And that last page where they're celebrating the guy's 132nd year birthday, like that picture of him and the stuff that he's saying is so ice cream manned out. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a good point. Roman, I somehow did not check the preview for the next issue until you just mentioned that. But yeah, Batman, Plastic Man, and Dead Man, excellent.
Oh, the three best men.
I got a 9.5 for this guy.
Yeah.
9.5 for you.
I'm going 8.
8.
Actually, I'll do 8.5. I'll do 8.5.
So we got a 10, we got a 9.5, and we got an 8.5.
Yeah.
Some pretty high scores. Pretty high scores.
Pretty high scores. And I would say one of the best creative teams as a unit in comics. And I'm glad that they represent themselves like a band, you
Mm-hmm.
don't just get Morazzo, you don't just get Prince, like they're coming here to do their thing.
Yeah. 100%.
How many the 6 issues? 8 issues?
Oh, good question.
6 issue series.
6 issues.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heck
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
Go on.
That was absolute dead man. But listen, I got ahead of myself. So let's chronologically get to my favorite contributor to the podcast here, Brian Garside.
Hello and happy episode, whatever episode number this is. Is it 428? I'm not sure. 5 Gears in Reverse. I know this came out a couple of weeks ago, but man, good book. I'm like 2 months, maybe 3 months behind on some comics that I own right now. But, you know, a new criminal book came out a couple of weeks ago, immediately to the top of the stack. And I read it right away in, you know, I don't know, probably 2 days, even though it should be something that takes me 40 minutes to read. Listen, I'm slow. But hey, left me wondering, what is something that no matter how far behind you are on your comics or maybe other things in life, what's something that as soon as it's out, it immediately jumps to the top of your stack? Maybe it's a comic, but I'll accept alternative answers like video games or music or other mediums. I just want to hear you guys talk. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Turnips love you as well, William Elmer. Thank you so much for contributing to episode 249 of the podcast. Any listener can do the same thing. Brian Garside, not even just the best Canadian in the world, but one of the best human beings in the world.
It's true.
Has in the past contributed, and anyone could be like Will and Brian and send an email to jeff@thecomicsplace.com or an audio recording as an attachment to the email, jeff@thecomicsplace.com. I have another very fun email to get to in a little bit here, but that is a fun, cool little direct to podcast email that Django set up specifically for me for the podcast. So anybody just shoot it out there, and it will.
It's in the
it'll
right
get
bucket.
here. Yep, it's in that bucket.
Podcast bucket.
Things that cut the line to the top of the stack. Yeah, I like that.
Brubaker Phillips hardcovers for me. Bob
Clearly,
Dylan
right?
albums.
Yep.
Indiana Jones movies. Fast and the Furious movies. Ice Cream Man.
Yep. If Kendrick Lamar releases any music, regardless of what I'm doing, that is what I'm doing in that first moment. Same would be said for Nas, Frank Quitely art. I can't even necessarily say anything about like Grant Morrison comics because they have the ability to like hit and miss with comics for me.
Yep.
So I say that I fall off as often as I'm loving it as the greatest thing I've ever read. But a video game by From Software would certainly do that for me.
Wow.
Roman,
Yeah.
what do you cut for?
Boy, I was going to say Mark Waid comics, but especially
To feel
his
alive.
DC Wade comics, and same thing with Morrison. They can hit or miss, but they always go right to the top for me to read. Boy, it's often a miss, but Alice Cooper, anytime he puts out a new album, I gotta listen to Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Brian Garside, your friend and mine, said Absolute Batman, and that is 100% true. That's the first book I read any week that it comes out. Also, the Matt Fraction Batman is basically done that same thing. Thank God they come out on different weeks.
Maynard James Keenan's music, Brian says.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Well, he's the lead singer of Tool, A Perfect Circle, and
okay.
Pussifer.
All right.
And yeah, I'm there with him. I'm there. Trent Reznor. Hey, Django.
Yeah.
Tom Waits put out a song a month or two ago
with Massive Attack. I stopped everything I was doing at midnight when I found out about it and just listened to that a couple times.
Do you have any inkling as to like, was that a one-off? Is he working on something? Was it a remix? What propelled that to exist? Does it allude to something further?
It's a super politically relevant song right now that apparently he wrote 15 years ago for these guys, and it just took forever. So yeah, there are a lot of rumors about whether or not Tom Waits is going to do a new album, but who knows? That guy does what he wants. He doesn't have to work at this point, I think.
And it is worth mentioning that there was a new Perfect Circle record, or certainly single, that came out on May 27th. I can't remember if that's coming out soon or what. Yeah, Tom Waits. Yeah, that's something I'm gonna crack into. But right now, it's the most prominently displayed record that I own, Heart of Saturday Night, and I need to move it because it just looks like Elon Musk. It just looks like Elon Musk on the cover of that record, and it bums me out.
You really think so?
Oh yeah.
That never occurred to me.
Well, let's flash it onto the screen here and let everybody else decide. Django's going to track that down for everybody. We all know that Tom Waits been around longer than Elon Musk and been kicking ass much longer.
That's got Elon vibes to you, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those eyes, that nose, that mouth.
I guess the eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. I can kind of see that. I
Oh,
know Tom Waits too well to think that.
Yeah,
But
totally.
talking about Tom Waits, and that might run might as Springsteen anytime he puts out something new.
Oh man.
Do you think Springsteen and Tom Waits, what do you think they think of each other? Do you think they'd ever like do something together?
I think Springsteen made Tom Waits rich when he recorded Jersey Girl.
Yeah, I bet that Bruce Springsteen's probably a fan of Tom Waits. Tom Waits, I would put in the group of people like Maynard and stuff, or Trent Reznor, where like he might say F everybody. I don't know. Django would be able to know, but I put him in that group.
I think they're friendly. They were both on Roy Orbison's A Black and White Night. It was probably the first time I knew either of their names was that video.
And so it was Tom Waits and The Boss. It was the first time you knew about The Boss.
The Boss. No, I didn't even know him by the name The Boss because I think my parents were just talking about Bruce Springsteen and how Tom Waits was ruining the song.
Whoa, your parents didn't like Tom Waits?
I mean, he was probably high on a number of things and drunk, and the way he plays piano is amazing and could reasonably be called a disrespect to Roy Orbison's music. I think.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's wrong, no matter what they think of his piano licks on there.
Yeah.
I love it, but I could see why somebody would hate it so bad.
Yeah. A new exciting flavor of cereal or a new Pop-Tarts flavor is something that I go out to the store to get immediately. I find which place is stocking it, specifically cereal, new types of cereal. Really, really into that. Need to find a good avenue for my cereal enthusiasm at this point in my life.
Yeah. Instead of just eating it and enjoying it, you want to monetize it. I get it.
I want to help people develop a more complex appreciation for cereal. It's something that is important, and it's widely considered a child's thing, and how, it can bring more joy than maybe any medium, any medium cereal is able to convey and provide more joy than, but we don't celebrate it as such.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I would say our viewership just went up by 2 people while you were talking about cereal. So that's pretty good. I think you're onto something here.
All right, cool. Well, I have content.
Tom Waits is who Heath Ledger partly based his Joker on.
Yeah,
probably.
Yep. Okay. We got a couple number ones that came out this week. William Elmer, thank you so much for contributing. And that, as always, is a wonderful time to mention the wonderful editor of this podcast, Andrew Carlson Fotsworth. Thank you so much for editing the podcast every week. Without you, we wouldn't get this done. In fact, he was gone, and I had to edit maybe the last one that I did, and it was like trying to get back into the womb. It was difficult.
Yeah.
Django, we got a high tier Marvel #1 and DC #1 this week. Take me where you will.
Well, Jeff, I want to hear you talk about Avengers Armageddon. I didn't read it, and I hope Roman did.
Oh, Roman read it.
Oh, I read it.
I hope that's the one you were talking about.
It is, and it was, and it is, yeah. So in a world where Marvel Comics is winding down the Ultimate line, the most successful thing that they've done since, probably, certainly One World Under Doom was a pretty big success. And Hickman, a very successful thing. They're winding it down. The last event was One World Under Doom, which I think was a fantastic event, and they are known for kind of consistently having events kind of always churning. It's been interesting to see that gap widen a little bit. Would you agree that there's a little fewer Marvel event than previous years?
Yeah, and maybe that's kind of why we have people feeling like Marvel's not really knocking it out of the park, because I think it does have some good books coming out, but we don't
Yeah.
have that event excitement that we've been trained to have every time an event ends. We get
Yeah.
ready for the next one.
Yeah, no, for sure. This event has been building through Chip Zdarsky's books, Captain America and Weapons of Armageddon, for, I guess, pretty much since the beginning of his Captain America run, which is probably getting close to a year at this point. And this is very political and kind of dives into the Captain America that he introduced in his Captain America run, which was sort of a 9/11 era Captain America. And it's got large amounts of emphasis on a Hulk character. It's got, the government going too far vibes. Avengers kind of on the outs. It's like One World. Okay, on the one hand, I love that comic books are discussing the gross aspect of America currently, the political sphere that we're in. I think it's important and it needs to be happening. At the same time, I do want comics to be fun. And I think that One World Under Doom did a fantastic job of like pointing a finger, having a really interesting conversation, and being like obviously good guy, bad guy, but also exploring a nuance between those things. This one, we're going to let it build some more, but it feels a little less nuanced. It feels a little bit drier and maybe deals more with the Avengers as a whole than One World Under Doom did. And the Avengers team for the last like 8-10 years has been a little bit tough for me. The Vision, Captain Marvel, Namor, Sam Wilson.
Sounds like a bunch of characters whose contracts haven't expired in the movies.
Exactly. Roman, what did you think of this one? Or do you want to give people a rundown of what happened here?
Yeah, it's the aftermath of the One World After Doom series, where the U.S. government with some allies went in to try and safeguard some of Doom's weapons of destruction and everything. But they were too cooperative for General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, the Red Hulk. So he went in and pretty much conquered the nation himself and took over. And that's what he's doing now. He's got his own, he's created his own, little mini Hulk army. And they're going to try and expand into surrounding nations and force peace on the world, but their version of peace. So, I mean, like Trump, if Trump had brains.
Yeah.
And now all this, and the superheroes have all been told to stand down and not get involved. And of course they're going to get involved. And I like all that. My favorite part in this issue was Namor and Bucky Barnes are talking toward the end, just the two of them, and just about war and the history of humanity and the foolishness of it all, and Steve Rogers. And that's a great moment. The only thing I didn't like in the issue was I wish Reed Richards or somebody else had come up with this surveillance plan thing, because Tony Stark comes up with it. And I'm kind of tired of Tony Stark coming up with some great big global initiative or plan or technology or whatever, and all the superheroes being, okay, well, let's try that. And it's like, guys, how many times have Tony done this? And it's been a huge disaster.
Yeah.
And ends up in civil wars and whatever. Why do you guys keep letting him do this? Why do you keep listening to him about this stuff?
I think that the art in this is pretty gorgeous. No complaints at all about Delio Diaz and Frank Alpizar on the art. I will say, so like Chip Zdarsky, for somebody who came onto my radar as being hilarious. His writing is able to be, and oftentimes leans pretty melancholic and a little depressive, or very rooted in reality, or the structures that exist around us. and kind of political, which is interesting because his art is very, very silly. However, you know, Django's always the first to tell us that like comedy is oftentimes, you know, got a pretty, it's the other side of the coin of, you know, sadness. Sad clowns exist for a reason is what Django always says. He made a shirt for me that says that.
And you have like, you know, comedy I think is starting on hard mode where it's really difficult to actually be sort of universally funny, which I think Chip has the ability to do.
Mhm.
And I think that if you can master that, then you can do drama often.
Totally. That's why like you're the guy always saying it. So all that said, I think he excels at it, but I would like maybe a more fun Avengers story right now from my big Marvel event. This is very grounded and rooted in stuff and in the current state of, you know, American politics. And what I liked about One World Under Doom is that it was having like from right off the bat, it was having a very interesting conversation about that. Whereas this feels a little bit more plot focused and linear and is at least one issue in isn't kind of having that meta conversation about things. It's more like an expression of the things that we're experiencing. And I think that's exactly what some people want, but I really want currently to be reminded of how awesome Marvel characters and comics are. And I'm hungry for it.
Nice.
Hungry for it, James.
Hungry. Do you want to shake its hand?
I want to shake its hand and give it a score, but I don't want to rain on any parades. So, Roman, I want you to lead with your score, if you don't mind.
Ooh, what's my score for this? I haven't really thought about that too much. You know, I'm going to give it. Oh, I like this conversation with Spider-Man too. I'm going to give it an 8 right now. I'm mainly intrigued with this Captain America, like the Iraq War period, because he has the potential to be a really interesting character.
Yeah.
And I like Wolverine has worked with him, has this respect for him. I like the way they handle little things like that. So going with
Totally. Yeah. I have liked that Captain America character since his creation at the beginning of the Zdarsky run. And
Yeah.
I also liked the Weapons of Armageddon lead up to this, and was, you know, getting more origin box vibes, like the Ultimates power origins coming through. So I'm hoping that we're going to be getting more of that, a little bit more fantastical stuff. I am going to give this one an 8.0. The art's gorgeous. And yeah, I'll be keeping up with it because it's the main thing that Marvel is doing right now. And you know, I gotta be keeping up with my Marvels, Django.
If you think Raining on a Parade is an 8.0, I'd hate to see what you say about a comic you don't like.
Oh, well, listen. Whatever
Did you guys
book
read
you're excited
Mask?
to talk about. Dude, could you hold on a second? I've got something to talk about. I've got something
Talk
important.
about.
I got an email.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm incredibly excited about it because it came from a first-time caller, Keith. All right?
Oh, Keith.
I know a couple Keiths,
like
but
Keith
this came
Richards?
hot off the heels of me spending some days with a wonderful Keith in Cabo.
Keith
So
Anderson?
I can open think it might be from him. But here's what we've got. First time caller for the podcasts. What are your favorite sharks in comics? Jeff the Land Shark is the rage. Shark Week is a whole thing now, but I'm old enough to remember Action Comics 456 with Superman attacked by a giant shark on the cover. This was out early 76 after a summer full of the movie Jaws in the summer of 75. A year later, Fonzie jumps the shark in 77. King Shark, Green Lantern villain the shark attacking Ghost Rider underwater and Ghost Rider 16, Tiger Shark, Close Enough, Black Manta, signed Keith. Keith, you did a good job not dropping your last name, and if you're who I think you are, it's great to hear from you, and I had a wonderful time with you. Django is super into sharks.
I've been inside of a shark in the last 2 weeks. I would say all those
I
space
have
sharks.
that photo.
All those space sharks are pretty rad.
Jason Aaron Space Sharks.
I was pricing up X-Men comics today, and somewhere in the early hundreds, I think, there was a note on Key Collector that they changed star sharks into space sharks.
Hmm.
And I didn't ever realize that they had to change the name of a type of shark in an X-Men comic. I'm gonna look that up while you guys talk about your favorite sharks.
Well, okay. Listen, I'm gonna bend this rule a little bit because I'm gonna say a character who I put in the shark category. I'm gonna say an orca.
Oh,
It's a
nice.
whale, but it's like an
Yeah.
aggressive giant water thing with sharp teeth. And
Yeah.
you know, the DC Comics villain Orca. That's mine. There was that one
Yeah.
time we got to see Orca make out with Killer Croc. Y'all remember that?
No.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Good
No,
stuff. It's good stuff.
yeah, and I can't remember. Aren't orcas like more closely related to sharks anyway than whales?
Killer whales.
Yeah. um, I'm gonna go well. Nowadays King Shark's so awesome, but he wasn't awesome for most of his existence. But you know, King Shark, Tiger Shark, the Marvel villain, he's
Tiger
cool.
Shark. Yep.
Yeah. Those are
Jingle,
that pop to mind.
You got a favorite shark, big guy? You're gonna say the space sharks.
Space sharks, just
Yeah.
the idea of sharks flying around in space, like, and I think this kind of tells us the difference between Marvel and DC is that DC has space dolphins and Marvel has space sharks.
That's really the entire conversation boiled down to like one profound example, really.
I'm curious about the Django. What are these space sharks? I'm not familiar with space sharks.
You remember in Jason Aaron's run with Thor, and he was out in space being cool Thor, and there was space sharks. Maybe it was Cosmic Ghost Rider also.
Oh,
He's put space sharks
Yeah.
in any
Okay.
anytime he goes to space, he talks about the space sharks.
Yeah.
all right. Yeah.
And
Okay,
I wish-
question.
I can't find the thing here.
Django, you read all of Batman Off-World, which was a 6-issue Jason Aaron Batman miniseries where he was in space. Were there space sharks?
There were no space sharks.
Okay.
But
You're right. It is the difference between Marvel and DC.
I can tell you that in Uncanny X-Men number 162, we found a solo Wolverine story starring the Brood and the debut of Star Sharks, aka Space Sharks, in the Marvel Universe.
Star
So,
Sharks.
1982 is how long Marvel's been doing Space Sharks.
Wow.
I like
Cool.
it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Where are we going now?
Well, Django, you had primed up Mask, and I cannot wait
Oh,
to
that
hear
was
about this one because that is an important book that was released this week. It's the most recent addition to the Energon universe. This is the first property that it's associating with that I know nothing about. And so I'm excited to peer behind the kimono.
oh.
Part of the
Well,
kimono.
yeah, I slotted this in as a gag because we were talking about books that you might not care about.
I like
and,
that, but I want to really
we got to get
corner
the
you
Keith
with
in
it.
there. Okay, all right. So Mask. I used to know a kid named
Timothy Mask.
Justin.
Eric Roberts.
What's his name? Justin. Now I can't remember his last name, but it was the same password that you use to get unlimited lives or to level jump on a video game. But he had Mask characters. He had Lego semi trucks. Like he had all the good toys. And so I got into Mask for a little while. I could tell Mask. We bought a toy collection recently, and when we were digging through the boxes, we found a Mask, like a bag of Mask characters, and I wasn't even thinking about it, but I was putting the right helmet on the right dude. So like there's something inside of me that
Oh.
knows and remembers Masks. It's pretty good. It's like exciting military guys capturing dudes who are working for the military who don't want to work for the military anymore because they created this super cool tech, like this car that has gull wing doors that help it fly.
I think I
just
got
like
that
the toy.
as a McDonald's toy once, and it had
Nice.
like a key in it, and the things flipped up.
Yeah.
Django, Craig Mueller mentioned a very interesting part of this here, which is
Oh,
that
right.
he tried to read his issue of Mask. He must have bought the blind bag, but there was a pesky ROM comic in my blind bag.
Yeah.
Django, tell the folks.
So Image put out blind bags similar to the way they did it with was it the Battle Beast, where not only could you get Mask number 1, but you might get Mask number 2, and you might even get ROM number 1, a new comic out that hasn't even been solicited yet, I don't think. I don't know if they're gonna put it out as a series or if it's a one shot. I'm sure they're not going to make it so that the only place you can get is the blind bag, but a lot of stores complained about the mix that they got, where it would that like they would open 40 copies of the blind bag and they would get all mask number ones. We got mostly ROM number ones. So sorry, everybody. We got your ROMs.
Pretty crazy. On the Wednesday of release, like by the time that I was wrapping up my shift around 2, we had like 6 ROMs get opened
Yeah.
in blind bags in the store, which is
Wow.
insane.
Yeah.
Brian Garside said, I haven't read number 1 because I got Mask Origins number 1, which is the first appearance of some of these characters. But
Right.
Django and I were confused about what series that was from when it came out. Is that a new thing?
I don't know, man. I'm really confused by these blind bags, and it's
Yeah.
kind of fun. Like, I'll allow it, but I don't really understand it. My biggest disappointment here is going to be when we meet the GI Joe people with the mask people. If the mask guys aren't shorter than the GI Joe guys across the board, because the figures were a head shorter, I'm going to be really disappointed. And I didn't see Eric Stoltz in here anywhere, so a
Yeah.
couple of
These
bummers
are-
in there.
These are going over my head, but GI Joes are smaller
G.I.
than
Joe
my
figure?
Batman action figures.
Mask figure.
Wow.
That's crazy. And then where
Yeah.
did He-Man slot in?
He-Man was huge. He-Man's like
They're all
GI
buff.
Joe doesn't even come up to his shoulders.
A Transformers guy.
Yeah, you are.
Was this written by Dan Waters? Is that the what I see on that?
Yeah, this
site
was
on
written
there?
by Dan Waters, art by Pi Par and Pierluigi Casalino.
Yep.
Cool name.
Yeah.
Dan Waters can get a little bit he can get a little military jingoism in there, like sending in the strike teams and stuff, but
Totally.
I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Brian says that Mask Origins is a special issue by Kirkman, and that and ROM will probably come out as one shots. That makes sense.
Yeah, Jake, who is a huge Jake Sender at our comic shop, one of the employees there, he is a huge ROM fan, has been reading ROM from the very beginning in the Epic Collection format lately. And yes, he did some recon. Apparently it's a character that will be in some of the series, but it's not going to be an ongoing, so it's either a one shot or a limited mini.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
also interesting. But I support them doing this sort of stuff. I love that Kirkman does it. I've yet to have it happen on like a book where I'm particularly personally interested in the book. So I
Right.
haven't had the experience yet of opening it up and not knowing what I'm going to get and whatnot. But I would really like for that to happen.
But that led off the Battle Beast.
Yep.
Like that turned into something that I think you keep up with, right?
Totally. Yeah. And I wouldn't have expected that. But it was like by issue 3 or 4 where I was just like, wait,
Mhm.
Battle Beast is like one of my favorite things now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Well, I'll read a couple more issues of this before I give up. As long as we don't see GI Joe being taller than these guys, I'm 100% in. As soon as we see that they're the same height, which I bet they are, because
Criminy. Yeah.
then I'm gonna have to put it on the chopping block and see what else comes out that week. But I would give it I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Cool.
Good comic. I'll bet if I liked the toys more, or if I was more into the cartoon, it would be way higher. Because it feels pretty faithful. Like the silly costumes that they have. Like there's a general who's got like a big rope epaulette going down his jacket, like he's a blimp baron or something. So good stuff in that regard.
We are getting a lot of nostalgia based comic franchises right now, particularly like 80s era stuff. And I think the quality across the board is pretty there on
Mhm.
them. But I think the main thing comes down to, do you have the nostalgia for that property? So with the exception of Transformers, because that one's great, but that's the one I like. Okay, Django, do you want to do your game now? Do you want to cover anything else?
I think there's 2 other books I think we should talk about before we get all sloppy
I
with
agree.
Buckshotty.
Absolute Catwoman came out this week, which is a huge release, a huge number 1, especially where we're living in this world now where Absolute Green Arrow came out and like rocked the world with how well it sold. And I have not seen the results for Absolute Catwoman, but Django, I bet you have. Did this one sell more than Absolute Green Arrow?
I haven't seen as much buzz about it.
Yeah, me neither.
But I'll bet that in our store it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, just looking at numbers here. Yeah, It's maybe not selling as fast, but
That's interesting.
I think I liked it more.
Yeah, I think I did as well. Only one of the two had a motorbike that turns into a cat.
Yeah,
Roman, I bet you can
galloping
guess
cat.
which one that is. Roman, what do you think of this one, big guy?
I was surprised because I didn't think I'd like it more than Absolute Green Arrow, but I did, and I didn't think I would because I haven't really cared about this version of Selena over in Absolute
Mhm.
Batman. But this was just such a well-crafted story, and it paced so well. I like the art, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I agree with you, Roman. In the what are we 20 issues into Absolute Batman at this point? Ish.
Yeah.
We have gotten Selena, and we've seen that there is some form of relationship romance with Bruce. As with many of the side characters in that Abs Bats book, they all have been a part of his life for most of his life. So Selena too, in that that's happening. With Absolute Batman, sometimes you're jumping between time frames, and I don't always pick up on it immediately. And this issue as well has some current day stuff and some 12 years ago to the day stuff.
Classic Scott Snyder.
Classic Scott Snyder. So you are getting a scope for this character across time, but with that viewpoint, it sometimes might take a couple more issues before you get like a generalized idea of how the character functions, because you are jumping across time. We need to account for that growth. But yeah, I've really enjoyed all of the side cast for all of these Absolute Bat characters. And I like the edginess of this Catwoman, although like original Catwoman is pretty edgy. So yeah, I would say it doesn't feel like she's incredibly different from the Selena Kyle that we know outside of being younger
and maybe more successful.
Yes.
Like she's stolen enough to quit the game if she wants.
Yeah. But I think my favorite part of this issue was a large spoiler that happened at the end. So the final page reveals a character in the world of Bat Comics that shows up. I don't know if it's good for us to spoil that or not, because these Absolute books are kind of cultural things at this point. But I was really excited to see the character that showed up there.
Okay, I was wondering about that because I was spoiled pretty early, and I spoiled it for you by accident, and I don't think that I would have liked it more if it had been a surprise.
Yeah.
But I'd also that's a character that kind of missed me in the time I was reading the characters.
I don't think that the fact that it was like a spoiler or not, I think at this point with these Absolute books, especially in number 1, you're expecting to like, which other characters of the Pantheon are we going to see? Right. So like within that, it's an expectation for me at this point. So the spoiler aspect of this character's reveal is not the cool part to me, outside of just it's a character that I like, and one of the better costumes. So I was pumped to see them crop up.
Yeah.
Tommy Donovan, it was a surprise for him, and he freaked out a tiny bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I could see that. I just not a character that I didn't read that era of Batman as it came out.
Yeah, totally. That's like after your crest. Yeah.
It was a surprise for me, and I don't know. I guess I didn't expect that character. I expected somebody a little more obvious, I guess. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, we got a character in here that reminds me of like a young Harley Quinn character, but it's not the young Harley Quinn character that we see in the Absolute Batman book. So that's a little bit weird.
Oh, it's not? I thought it was.
Is it? Wow. They're drawn very different.
I don't know. I just assumed it was because I can't remember the actual Harley Quinn, Absolute Harley Quinn.
She's got like a shaved head and tattoos and stuff.
Look who's in the chat.
Dino Chapino.
Hi, Dino. Oh, it's Holly. It's Holly. It's
yeah. I assumed it was like from Catwoman's year 1 era crew.
Yeah.
Dino asks, do you think the AI Jonesy is named after the cat in Alien? Dino, your grasp
Yes.
of the English language, and your ability
Pop
to
culture
remember
references.
characters across all pop culture. Holy cow! I'll bet you're right.
Yeah.
I'll bet
Yep.
you're right.
It's got to be.
Tommy
Yeah.
agrees as well. I guess at the end of the day, I'm a guy who loves cats.
Mhm.
So I'm here for it.
And women.
Well,
And
yeah,
cats,
respect
women.
for women that's what we're about. It's not the platform, but it's what we're about.
Could be.
I think it is what we. Well, yeah. Anyway, go on. we'll table it for now. We'll table it for now.
I think I got to give this one a 9. I think it was really good. I don't know what I gave Absolute Green Arrows, so if I also gave that a 9, or if I give that a 9.5, don't come at me. I gave this a 9 that I liked more than I liked Absolute Green Arrow.
That's how numbers work for me. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I give this one an 8.5. I think that it has started, an interesting story. It doesn't have like the unique artistic flair that we've kind of seen in the original 3 Absolute books that came out, like a really unique tone. So there's a little regression towards the mean there, just in terms of how it's being put out, but I'm here for it.
I could give it more if I liked her helmet better.
Yeah, I kind of like it. There's parts of it that harken back to like Darwin Cook stuff for me.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I'll give it 8.5.
8.5s. All right.
Heck yeah.
Right there with Jeff.
Django, I can only imagine that the other book that you feel like is important enough to talk about before we get into Buck Sheezy's is Jay and Silent Bob, Jay's Future Bad. That's right here.
Naturally, I'm assuming you read this.
Yeah. Kevin Smith and Giuseppe Camuncoli on the creative team here. Kevin Smith has been writing DC and Marvel comics over the years. He's, plops down. Widening Gyre was something that was supposed to be 2 volumes long, and it got delayed, and the second volume never came out. He's a guy who's busy and doing lots of stuff. When he writes, oh gosh, Django, you have some ideas on Kevin Smith dialogue in movies versus comics. You have an opinion that I've always remembered. Can you word it correctly for me?
I think that Kevin Smith dialogue in movies sounds like someone reading a comic book out loud. And I love reading comic books to myself and not out loud because they sound dumb when they're out loud.
So then what did this sound like? Because to me, this sounded like a Kevin Smith movie.
I'll be really honest, Jeff. When I got to the big 2-page X-Men spread,
Yeah.
I put it down and I'm never going back to it.
Okay.
I thought that page was maybe the last time I'm going to read a Clerks comic because I thought it was really bad.
Yeah.
Maybe I was grumpy. Maybe I was reading it in the wrong tone of voice, but the jokes did not land for me. And when I turned that to the next page and I saw a remake of the Amazing Fantasy 15, I was like, I can't do this today.
Roman, what were your thoughts on it?
It's I don't know. A lot of the jokes. I mean, Jay's jokes, his one-liners, some of them still crack me up. And when he sees the Avengers and he says it's the Apple Dumpling Gang. I mean, I love a lot of them, and they're stupid. They're just so stupid, but
they're so dumb. There is some Django, I don't think you're wrong, but Roman, I also agree with you. There are some jokes on here where you're like, we put the ink on this many pages for that joke to be out here.
Yeah.
But also, that's kind of his shtick a little bit. And certainly with these 2 characters, what I was saying is that, I can't even remember what his most recent thing was. Did he do one of the Marvel DC crossover, short stories or something? He did something not terribly long ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
This one, felt to me like authentically Jay and Silent Bob, which I can't always say that his comic books feel a lot like the dialogue of his movies, in my mind. But I love his movies. And this one to me felt more like I was actually hanging out with Jay and Silent Bob and not like a weird little facsimile of it, like in the Archie book or something. This was more believable for me.
I guess for me,
Bizarro.
it felt like
Thank you,
it
Brian.
was, it felt like it was all of the character. It was like Jay and Silent Bob in cosplay as all of the characters. Like that double page spread is just.
And it's not the only one, Django. You stopped at a good
I'm
spot
sure it keeps
because
going.
there's more of those. Yeah.
Because, like, you know, Iceman says something and then somebody else says, that's some good humor from the Ice Cream Man. That's not what Johnny Storm says. That's what Jay or
No.
Silent Bob says. That's what Kevin Smith
Yeah.
says. It
Yeah.
just, all the dialogue stopped me and took me so far out of it. I was like, very cute, Kevin Smith. I'm out.
Yeah, it's very much the Marvel universe as seen by Kevin Smith, and certainly not like when J.J. Abrams came on to write that Spider-Man book and we like
Yeah.
assumed that it should sound like Spider-Man and stuff.
Right.
This is like
Yeah.
it's supposed to sound like Kevin Smith, and I don't think there's a lot of creators who could dip in like that, and I would give them that concession.
Yeah.
That wholeheartedly.
Yeah. No,
I think
I wouldn't hold that against anybody.
I think I definitely agree that X-Men double page spread is the worst part of the issue.
Yeah. They're
Stuff
you know,
just done.
essentially Dr. Doom puts a hit out on Silent Bob, and it's because actually he's like a Nexus character. So there's a really cool double page spread, but you do have to turn it 90 degrees to appreciate it, Django. So it's good that you were gone by then.
Oh,
But it's like Jay and Silent Bob redrawn into a whole bunch of famous Marvel moments.
Nice.
That was fun. But I really like the conceit, Django. Dr. Doom put a hit out on him because in the future, this weed that Kevin Smith has with him is so good that it makes everybody feel better and be pacified. And they start putting it out into the oxygen on Earth, and everybody starts getting along, and we become a peaceful coexisting race. However, then aliens invade and kill us all because we're
Nice.
passive and have destroyed all of our war tendencies. So they need to make sure that doesn't happen. So they put the weed away. And they give it the old classic forget everything retcon at the end of this. But like, I
Except,
was astounded that they put that much weed stuff into it.
yeah, that was pretty amazing for a Marvel moment. Jeez.
Yeah.
And I do like the thing at the end that only people from Jersey City remember that Jay and Silent Bob are part of the Marvel universe. So
Right.
Ms. Marvel shows up. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm from Jersey."
Yeah. And she remembers it. Yeah. Kevin Smith is a character that played a large role in producing art that was important to me at a young kind of critical time in my life. So as such, I have an almost protective feeling. Like I want him to be happy. I'm grateful for what he's done. His output of the last 10 years to me is not the same and doesn't hit like it did, although I can still certainly enjoy some of his new stuff, but those classics to me are classics. So I like to imagine that he's happy, you know, and this gave me that feeling. So I gave this one an 8.
I don't even want to score it, man. I'm just going to be
No.
a jerk about it. And
Yeah.
like, to be fair, he's written some of my favorite comics. I really like those Batman books that he wrote. I really liked his Green Arrow. Was the first time I realized that characters could come back from the dead in a way that I believed. And the Daredevil series that he did blew my mind. So I don't want to give this a 3.5.
Yeah, well, then don't. Yeah,
I'm not
Roman,
gonna.
what's
I won't.
yeah. Roman, what's your score for it?
I'm going to give it an 8. It was a fun book, and I also want to give a 9 actually to Mad Prophet Comics' comment about the Grey Gargoyle joke, explaining it.
What
Great
did he
joke.
say here?
I'm not,
Not
sure if
sure.
you've met Tommy, but he's a wonderful, wonderful man, Roman. You guys would get along.
I'm not sure everyone understood that a Grey Gargoyle book would be about a bunch of people who are stoned.
Yeah.
But Django had a really funny idea to have everybody do buckshots today, and we're going to do a slightly longer buckshot. Django, enjoy your 2 minutes.
Oh, I got 2 minutes for this, huh? Okay. Well, I read Batman number 10. Batman number 10. Matt Fraction and
This is from both weeks, everyone.
friends. Yeah, this is just from the stuff that we missed out on talking about. I liked it. It was uplifting. The final panel was super fun. We get some good Bruce Wayne in the office, which I always kind of enjoy. Also, I read 5 Gears in Reverse by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. This is awesome. it starts with the same 20-ish pages that we got when they put out the criminal one shot that came out just after they announced the movie or the TV show, which bring it on. Where's the TV show? And I thought that I had read it already, but I hadn't. And so as I kept going, it just gets better and better. And the main guy, it's the kind of thing where if the protagonist doesn't get his nose broken every few pages, you kind of start wondering what's going on. What's wrong with this story? I also read Tankers versus Ancient Aliens. Absolute nonsense from Bad Idea. Good job, guys. And I'm still enjoying Bleeding Hearts. I read number 5. The art just keeps getting better. The Sitpan Morian art, just cooler and cooler art wise. And then I also read Bad Thoughts by Andy Parks and Dave Watchter, a book from Ignition. But it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. I'm gonna read another one. It's about a dude who can kind of read people's negative thoughts. I don't think he can read their positive thoughts, and he's on it's another military SWAT team kind of thing, which I would love to see comics set somewhere else. Give us a bunch of robbers instead of cops. Why not?
Barons.
Or barons. Give us some barons. Give us a baron in a blimp chasing a dude in a semi truck painted like the American flag. That's all I really want. If Hasbro doesn't pick that up, I'm going to be really bummed. 2 minutes is a long buckshot, buddy.
It's a long buckshot. You did great, bud.
Long shot, if you know what I mean.
Long bow
Hunter,
hunter.
the X-Men.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah. Tommy says that he feels like Ignition can only make good books. Even when the book isn't for him, it's really good. I agree. Same thing with Bad Idea. They tend to churn out stuff that I enjoy. So,
And I would say Distillery is in that same.
Totally.
I think the three of them make a triangle, and it's books that are very high quality. And I don't read a ton of them outside of the first issues, but I think that they're well done, and it's cool to have three kind of publishers putting out stuff that could appeal to not the average comic reader.
100%. Roman, if you had a buckshot and I said go, what would you do?
My computer would break down.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 19. If you've been following this book, the Turtles' mom, who's been dead for centuries, and never got reincarnated like the rest of them did, but she's been in the realm of the dead doing some kind of guardianship thing, and she got accidentally pulled over into modern Turtles time, so she's reunited with her family. And it's just been really sweet. It's been 2 issues, and it's been really sweet and nice. But she decides she doesn't belong in this modern thing with cars and pizza and weird things like this. So she wants to go back. Things happen. It's touching with her turtle boys and her. And there's more to come with that whole drama. I read the latest Godzilla one-shot, Godzilla's The Odyssey. This is the best of these. There's been these other Godzilla literary crossovers. This is the best one yet. The art's really good. By Elias Karazias. But if you want to preview a little prologue of the new Odyssey movie, this tells the story of Odysseus and his crew going along every single little bit, except Godzilla's involved, and all the other kaiju monsters of the Godzilla verse are also involved. So you got Titanosaurus there with Scylla and Charybdis, and it's great. It's so cool. It's just a lot of fun. There's harpies. There's everything. Daredevil number 3, Legacy issue number 690, which I just picked up. I don't think I read 2, but I picked up because of this awesome cover introducing a new character called the Omen. And it's got some great Spider-Man Daredevil stuff where Daredevil's having problems with his powers. So Spider-Man, in his annoying Spider-Man way, kind of trains him to filter out everything because he's having trouble filtering his senses. So you guys, is that my 2 minutes?
That's it. That's your 2 minutes, bud.
That's it. All right.
Nice.
We read a lot of comics that are different.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Go
did you do
us.
scores, Janko?
No, I don't want to do scores. You can do scores.
Okay. Daredevil, I'm going to give that a 7.5. Godzilla the Odyssey, I'm gonna give a 9.
Dang.
Ninja Turtles, I'm gonna give that an 8.5.
Who's drawing
Turtles?
Ninja drawing turtles? Who's that?
Let's see. Oh boy, another name. I apologize if I mangle this. Pharaoh Pe, P-E.
Okay. All right.
Pe.
All right. That's pretty good. Listen, guys, it's getting hotter and I'm getting dumber. Jeff, 2 minutes, go.
I read 2 number ones worth mentioning this week. Monster Racing League #1 by a father and daughter writing team that I did not know was a father and daughter writing team until Django mentioned it, with art by Jay Lee. It is almost the same book as the other #1, Skate Ali by Sam Humphries and Kelly Sue DeConnick, with art by Natasha Bustos, so it looks like Snot Girl. Both of them are like outsider girl moving to a new community and finding a edgy thing to be a part of. What I really want to say is that the first book I remember selling when I started working in the comic shops was Batman Superman with Jay Lee art. And it is astounding to me that at this point, this many years later, Jay Lee's art has not changed. And it's not challenging itself for doing anything interesting. It looks cool, but I would love to see his art on a book where it benefits the book for being his art and the book makes his art more interesting. As it stands, it's just interesting panels with weird half shots of people, and the style doesn't seem to fit anything. Skate Ali was like a fun kids skateboarding thing with Sam Humphries and Kelly Sue DeConnick. Big shout out Sam Humphries, who gave our store money when the pandemic happened and cleared out some people's files. I don't know why I would talk about any books that came out this week that are not Berserk, because Berserk didn't come out this week, but I'm near the end of the hardcover #5, and you guys, it is the best manga I've read since Akira. And I want to be careful. It's my favorite. I think it's the most high quality book I've read in years. It astounds me. It's a thing that was talked about a lot. Obviously I knew about it, but I hadn't read it. And as I start to read a little bit more about it outside of the book itself, it has changed the shape of popular culture and comic books. It is the most impressive feat that I've read in a book, literally in years. I'm totally engrossed, but constantly blown away by what's going on in it, how incredibly unique the art is. It is the most impressive establishing shots of nature that I've ever seen in anything. Miura is an absolute incredible wizard. As I started it, I knew that at some point, a ways in, a horrible thing happens. I didn't know what happens in it. I just knew it was called The Eclipse. I recently got to that. And it is the most disturbing, sad depiction of evil that I've ever taken in a comic book. And it made me feel so gross that I had to like take a little bit of space from it. I'm back in, but it is like disturbing.
Dang.
Wow.
Skate Ali gets a 6. Monster Racing League #1 gets a 5. Berserk gets a 10.
Nice.
Yeah. I read comic books all the time, and I have not thought something was this impressive since like Morrison Quietly came across my radar, or like Hickman's stuff as I was introduced to it. I am totally in awe, and I'm staying up late reading, and then I wake up and it's like the first thing I do while I drink coffee is read it. So absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Four volumes of Berserk is no joke either. That's a lot of comics. 5 volumes of Berserk.
Yeah.
So just real quick to touch on a shop story that I was going to tell you guys after we got off here. Today we had a guy come in, and this is kind of related to your Berserk thing. And he like came up to me and he's like, "So what do you think the most violent comic you have in the store is?" And I happened to be upstairs standing right next to Death of Power. And I said, "Well, it's this right here," without missing a beat. And he opened it up and he was like flipping through the newest issue, which isn't super violent. It's just super messed up. And I was like, we also have a bunch of Crossed. He's like, "Oh, I would never touch Crossed."
Crossed was my
what
thought.
are you asking for the most violent comic for then? And then he looked through it and he was super grossed out. And I was like, what are you even doing? Like, you're asking for the most edgelordy, grossest thing I can find, and I can give it to you, but don't ask if you don't want it. It was pretty fun.
Like
I'm
cartoon
excited.
violence with no blood.
Yeah.
Bubba Black, who's in the chat after book club this most recent week, he is a big fan of Akira in a similar way that I am. And it fits into his life in a similar way. And so he was like, yeah, I've heard of Berserk, but he also hasn't read it. So I'm bringing in the first hardcover for him to borrow and read because
Nice.
it starts a little slow, but by the end of that first hardcover, it is balls to the wall,
Nice.
nailed
Cool.
to the wall.
Wow.
B to the
Ew.
W. Bite
Yeah.
to the way.
Yeah, so excited. But yeah, Crossed was my thought, Django. But I will
Yeah.
say that what I just read in Berserk was more disturbing. The closest thing I can actually think of ever reading a comic book is Crossed.
Yeah.
Because it is this blend of compelling Crossed is and
At the
do
beginning.
we
anyway.
need to show this? Yeah.
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 It's there's good movies that make you feel really ooky too.
Yeah.
So we had a long discussion with the guy about whether something had to be something that he liked in order to be good art. Good art doesn't have to be good.
Totally.
It's two different things.
Yeah. And you can not enjoy good art. You can not appreciate things that many people would objectively say is the best form of art.
And I would say if it made you feel really ooky, that's good art.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah. Yep. God, I feel so good. I can't talk to anybody about Berserk because I have no one to talk to about it.
Jeff, it's one of the best-selling things in our store. There's got to be somebody.
Well, in the 3 weeks since I started reading it, I haven't gotten to talk to, but I have a tattoo appointment on Wednesday with somebody who's the first person I remember reading all the way through it. So
Nice.
yeah. No, it's hugely, there's certainly an audience out there. Just none of my friends.
Sorry,
so
man.
Let's become friends, Berserkers. Let's become friends. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us. Thank you to Keith. Thank you to Will Elmer. Thank you to Andrew Carlson. Thank you to Brian Garside, who with us in spirit, even when he's not in the chat, but this time he was with us in spirit and in the chat. So that was awesome. Big thank you to Roman and Django co-hosting and holding this thing down. Very excited to pee after this. A reminder, everybody, if you want to contribute to this fair voyage, you could send an email or recording as an email attachment to jeff@thecomicsplace.com. We are streaming live on Facebook right now at this moment, and as soon as it's done, it's going to get sent over to the YouTube, so you can go onto YouTube and check out The Comics Place.
It's live
And
on
you will
both at
find
once
us.
right now.
Oh my good
Yeah,
lord.
believe it or not.
Oh my god.
Yeah, baby.
We're all
Oh
modern
my
and shit.
God. Comics. What an awesome game. And how really wonderful to get to have a never-ending stack of them, everybody. So thanks for hanging out with us. We hope that you get to get your grubby little mitts on a never-ending stack yourselves.
I'm Django.
I'm Jeff.
Oh, they like
I'm
me.
Roman.
Even messier than usual.
I'm
Nessie?
Roman.
What's Nessie have to do with it?
Oh.
Oh, wow, he's using all of them, everybody. We've never seen the